progetto CoMPaSS-NMD cerca di rispondere a una domanda fondamentale. Quali sono le basi genetiche, quindi le variazioni all'interno della molecola del DNA che ognuno di noi porta, che possono spiegare perché e come la malattia si sviluppa? Sostanzialmente questa è la grande domanda. Questo progetto ha delle caratteristiche uniche, direi, perché vogliamo sfruttare appunto differenti gruppi di dati, quindi useremo dati che vengono dallo studio del DNA di pazienti con malattie neuromuscolari, dati che provengono dallo studio di risonanza magnetica, dati che provengono dagli studi istologici, e tutto questo dovrebbe permettere di costituire una metodologia che permetta di analizzare questi dati in modo da trovare collegamenti che sono nascosti. L'intelligenza artificiale ha questo scopo, la mente umana ha una capacità limitata di acquisire i dati e l'intelligenza artificiale cerca di aiutare il clinico a capire i vari contenuti all'interno dei nostri dataset. Ho tantissimi dati, uso uno strumento che mi permette di capirci di più. Non delego la mia capacità di discernimento, ma di sicuro se qualche cosa verrà scoperto potrà essere utile perché lo potrò aggiungere al mio bagaglio da professionista. E ovviamente speriamo di aumentare la capacità di far diagnosi.
Welcome to everybody. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you all here again. This is the last webinar of our series. The aim is to show how CoMPaSS can be important for the care of patients with neuromuscular disorders. To understand that, it's my real pleasure to introduce the coordinator of neuromuscular project CoMPaSS-NMD, Professor Rossella Tupler. Rossella? Yes.
Good evening. Welcome again. This is the last one, and I am trying to introduce CoMPaSS again. So what is CoMPaSS? CoMPaSS is a project that aims to understand why a neuromuscular disease develops. We know that there are many different diseases, neuromuscular diseases, affecting a large number of patients. And in the past, we thought that by looking for one gene, we would have been able to define the defect, the molecular defect, define the way the disease develops, and find a cure. But this has revealed pitfalls, and now we know that 60% of neuromuscular disorders do not have a diagnosis. So we thought to undertake a new approach, and we thought that artificial intelligence, which is able to analyze in an unsupervised, unbiased way data, could help us to discover hidden pathway, hidden mechanism that nowadays are still are not apparent. We do not know them. And so artificial intelligence is a system that has been used and is used continuing and enlarging in the medical field. And we wanted to see by developing CoMPaSS if we can find a way to increase diagnosis, help the clinicians, help the patient, and connect all the people that might be interested in improving the neuromuscular health care. And what is important is that we were funded by the European Union, and we put together several expertises, and with the idea to collect several data from different centers, and to create and connect several abilities. This is the scheme of Europe, and we have several components in CoMPaSS. We have a neuromuscular center, neuromuscular clinical center. We have companies performing a high level of genome sequencing. We have a computational center in Poland with engineers that will develop new algorithm to analyze data, and we have informatician and people who help us in the ethical part of the approach. So with this last webinar, we have all the entire view of what we are developing. And the objective is to integrate different data, because CoMPaSS will analyze magnetic MRI data, imaging data, histology data, genomic data, and clinical data. This effort is really the novelty of CoMPaSS, the integration of several data at different levels. In order, these data will be collected in the Atlas in order to create approaches that until now are not really used to diagnose neuromuscular disorder. And the CoMPaSS is composed by a retrospective observation study, so we used data that were already present and because they were funded by other European research funds. And we are collecting now data from new patients, 500, in the clinical center in Modena, Pisa, and Munich. And in this new group of patients will collect altogether histology, MRI, clinical and genomic data, and this is the first attempt in doing this, so the integration of the data. And at the end, what we want to do, we want to deliver these messages, these results to patients, then specialists, because they can really benefit from this study, but also to pharmaceutical agency in order to recruit a better recruitment for patient and to find new treatments. And then the scientific community as a method to analyze patients with rare disorders, but also policymakers that can be they can develop new practices for assisting patients with neuromuscular disorder. This is the QR code that you can use to obtain more information on CoMPaSS, and I want to thank everybody for participating to this webinar. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Rossella, for this nice introduction to CoMPaSS-NMD. And now we have reached the end of this series of webinars. After discussing on the clinical part, the ethics, and the bioinformatics aspects, we move on to the last, perhaps the most intriguing part on our project, I would say the sort of icing on the cake that we have added today with the presentation by Dr. Ricardo Corrias. Ricardo is a software engineer at Fincom, and I'm really glad to introduce you, Ricardo, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Filippo. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and thank you for participating in this fourth webinar of this series. I would like to start with my presentation regarding the CoMPaSS-NMD Atlas platform that is being developed. First of all, hello everyone again. My name is Ricardo Corrias, and I am a software engineer at Fincons Group with a master in artificial intelligence. And together with my colleagues in the CoMPaSS-NMD consortium, I'm one of the main developers working on the Atlas platform. And what is the Atlas platform? Well, it is a system that collects and organizes patient data in a secure way to support research and better care. Here you can see in this slide the 4 main topics that we're going to talk about today. We will start with what is the CoMPaSS-NMD Atlas platform. Then we'll go through which kinds of patient data it uses, how data are protected and who can access them, and last but not least, what the Atlas could change for people with neuromuscular diseases. But before that, I would like to start clarifying, as already Professoressa Rossella Tupler introduced, why is diagnosis difficult in neuromuscular diseases? And the answer is there are multiple answers. One of those is that there are many different rare diseases. This means that there are hundreds of different neuromuscular diseases, and many of them are very rare. And similar symptoms have different causes, meaning that weakness, fatigue, pain can look very similar, but the cause in the muscle, nerves, or genes can be different. And also, the other answer is that information is spread across multiple tests, like clinical visits, blood tests, MRIs, and biopsies, and genetic tests. And these tests are often done at different times and in different departments. This can result in a long journey for receiving a diagnostic. And and that's it. Let's start with the very first question that I introduced, which is what is the CoMPaSS-NMD Atlas platform? We have the CoMPaSS-NMD Atlas platform is a secure digital platform created within the project, and it collects and organized pseudonymized patient data from participating centers, bringing together multiple type of data, as introduced by my colleagues, and these data are clinical, MRIs, biopsies, and genetic, and all together in one place. The Atlas platform helps doctors and researchers to see patterns that are hard to see in one patient alone, and it is a research and support tool to improve the future diagnostics and the care for the patient. I would like to highlight the fact that the platform it is not a public website about the individual patient, and in any way it is not a tool that replaces doctors. Moving on, I would like to focus on these 4 kinds of data that are being collected, meaning that we have clinical data, MRI data, histological, and genetics. Clinical data are what the doctors see and measure during the clinical visit. MRIs are images that show which muscles are affected and how. Histological are microscopic pictures of a very small piece of muscle tissue. And genetics are information about changes in the DNA related to neuromuscular disease. Regarding each kind of data, I would like to answer the questions regarding on what is stored, how is it recorded, how does this data appear in the Atlas, and why these informations are important for the project. Clinical data, as I already said, are symptoms when they started, how they've changed, results of examinations done in the past, muscle strength tests, how the disease affects the patient in the daily life, and laboratory results and family history that we can collect during the clinical visits. These are recorded during, again, the clinical visit by the clinician or the doctor, and are directly inserted in the clinical form that is prepared in the Atlas platform. And they appear, different visits can be seen over time to follow the course of the disease. This means that it's possible for one patient to have multiple clinical forms in order to see and have a description of how the diseases goes over a long time for the patient. Then we have MRI data, which are scans of muscles done as part of medical care studies. And they are very important because different neuromuscular diseases affect different muscle groups. And by comparing many patients and therefore many MRIs collected, it is possible to see and observe patterns of muscle involvement. And these patterns can help doctor recognize different type of diseases more quickly. I would like to introduce the fact that these MRIs, clinical data, and others are only possible to see by authorized users, and they're not public, but we'll focus on this much more in the next slides. Then we have histological data, which are digital images of muscle biopsy. And they're important because biopsy can reveal very specific signature of certain diseases, and looking at many biopsies together helps recognize rare patterns. And these biopsy slides images are scanned and uploaded as both high quality images linked by a preview image, a description, and an evaluation of those images. And researchers can preview these images and description together with the metadata, which are basically more information that can be given to those data that were uploaded in the Atlas. And finally, we have also genetic data that are basically relevant results of DNA tests linked to neuromuscular diseases. And variant in genes may explain the disease. And these are important because, as you have seen in the introduction video of this webinar, combining genetic findings with clinical MRI and biopsy data helps to confirm a diagnosis or suggest new possibilities. Again, these data are protected and secured, and we'll focus on this in the next slides. Each patient or clinical or source data that is being uploaded in the CoMPaSS Atlas and it will be uploaded during the project is associated with a specific code, a code that we prepared for this project. You can see here an example of this, and there are mainly 3 points for this code. The first one is that no personal data is stored in the Atlas, meaning that the Atlas does not store personal information such as name, address, date of birth, or contact details of any type of the patient, and it only stores medical data that we described in the previous slides. And all of this is linked to a CoMPaSS code. The obvious question would be, who can reconnect the code, the CoMPaSS code to the person? And the answer is that only the clinical center keeps the list of links from CoMPaSS code to patient's personal information. And the list is stored locally in the clinical center and not in the Atlas in any way. This means that from the outside user's point of view, people using the Atlas see only codes and data, never patient names or other personal information. Users cannot identify who a specific record belongs to in real life. Here in this slide, you can see some examples of these codes that we created. We have patient code and source data code. Source data means basically the clinical MRIs or histological or genetic data that prospective data that are being uploaded in the platform. As you can see from the pattern for the code, the only element changing is the data type, which can be seen as a preview of what the code is attached to, meaning that it changes between PAT for patient or clinical MRIs, histological or genetics. Obviously, for uploading prospective data, the creation of procedures and it is very much needed, and therefore for the project we started developing and creating a data flow. This data flow in particular for this kind of data that I'm describing is structured in 6 steps. The very first one, it's the study inclusion, where a patient is recruited in a clinical center and provides the informed consent. Then, after this, there is the creation of the CoMPaSS code, where the clinical center creates a patient record and the Atlas returns the CoMPaSS code for that particular patient and for that particular patient only. And then there is step 3, which is the examinations and samples, where the clinicians or the doctor performs examinations and order tests to collect MRI, magnetic resonance images, muscle biopsies, and blood for DNA. Then the clinical center uploads clinical information and MRI scans directly into the Atlas platform through the dedicated view or page. Then we have the upload for muscle biopsy and DNA sample in the CoMPaSS project, which is done by collecting the tissue sample or the DNA sample or the blood sample. And then it is attached, identified by that specific CoMPaSS code, and is sent to the laboratory for histopathological laboratory for muscle biopsy, and the genetics laboratory for the DNA, for performing analysis and extraction on this sample, and the possibility to upload results after these processes directly to the Atlas. After this, we have to answer the question, which is a very important one: who can access the Atlas data? And we have 4 topics, the 4 points that we need to discuss. The first one is that the public, we don't have public data, meaning that the Atlas data are not open to the public or any search engines in any way possible. And only authorized users can access to the CoMPaSS project data, and only in a limited way, meaning that users needs to be authorized before performing actions on the data. Actions meaning that for actions we mean the upload, modification, or the deletion, or the download, if I already said it, of any data in particular. The other point that I would like to highlight is that in the platform there are different roles with different permissions. Clinical centers see clinical data and images for patients they follow only, and central laboratories see data needed for their tasks only. This will also remain as a rule, obviously, in even after the project and after the CoMPaSS project, because we want the data to be secured in the platform. The main rule is here is that everything is always coded and never named, which means that all 8 Atlas users see records identified by the CoMPaSS code, and the personal identity can only be relinked at the clinical center and not in the Atlas. Now we need to answer the question what the Atlas can change for the patients. And there are 2 main things. The first one is that is to have a better understanding of the disease and bringing together a larger numbers of cases with specific data that we are collecting will help identify patterns that are difficult to see in a single patient or in a single visit without the help of the other data that can be collected all together. The second topic is that it is possible to create more precise patient groups, and meaning that the patients can be grouped according to shared characteristics, and this stratification level is very important for monitoring and for future therapies. Now, obviously, since we are focusing on the Atlas platform, I would like to give you an idea where the Atlas platform stands today and what are the next steps. Now, at the moment, the core platform functionalities are implemented and currently in use internally in the project, meaning that the patient creation and CoMPaSS code generation works and is being used. The upload of clinical MRI, biopsy, and genetic data, it is being used, and currently we are collecting many data from different patients. And the storage is secured, and the linkage of data to the patient code also works pretty well. This can only be done since the platform is being already deployed and tested. And this means again that the platform deployed is deployed on a secure infrastructure where prospective data are being uploaded following data flows that I've introduced to you in the previous slides. And feedbacks from users are used continuously to refine the interface functions and for modifying the interface and the user experience for the Atlas, and the other functions are being integrated. What are the next steps for the Atlas? Well, we have 4 points. The first one being that continuous improvement, it's to have a continuous improvement with clinical feedback, where the platform is refined using ongoing feedbacks from expert clinicians in the CoMPaSS-NMD consortium, and their everyday expertise helps to adjust workflow, user experience, and make the Atlas easier to use in practice. Then we are introducing better control and data quality for the centers. This is done through the creation of modification window where clinical centers will be able to review the data they have uploaded, spot missing or incorrect information, and correct mistakes directly in the Atlas platform without asking for intervention from some technicians. This improves the quality and reliability of the dataset used for the research. Then, of course, we are introducing a more powerful search, and this basically means the HPO-based filtering. These new filters based on the human phenotype ontology HPO, which is a standard, are being introduced, and these models will help to group patients with similar characteristics and can suggest possible diagnostic directions to clinicians. And then, as a last point, we have the integration of clustering and decision support models, which were explained and introduced in the previous webinar by my colleague Joanna. And machine learning clustering models developed in the CoMPaSS project will be integrated. And this model will help to group patients with similar characteristics in order to arrive to a faster diagnosis and a better one. My presentation is finished. I would like to thank you, everyone. And I will be more than happy to answer any question that there is, and if you have any. Thank you, everyone, again.
Thank you, Ricardo. It was really a nice presentation, very detailed on the power and opportunities that Atlas is offering to CoMPaSS and perhaps in the future to additional neuromuscular conditions or neurological conditions. Are there any questions to Ricardo's presentation?
Okay. I can see the first question. How does the Atlas enable better patient stratification for clinical trials? I can answer this in a more technical way. In a technical way, I think it is being described during webinar 2, conducted by Joanna, because this is more on the results of the machine learning models that are being developed, and they will be integrated in the CoMPaSS Atlas platform. To clustering in a better way, I would say that it's by basically grouping and clustering and stratifying a patient with similar characteristics using these models. For another answer from a clinical point of view, I would like Filippo, if you have something to add up.
Yes, I think Atlas is really an opportunity. We put in the same basket a large number of data. We enable bioinformaticians to stratify data, to cluster data. And so once we have a better stratification of patients by informaticians, we can have for sure a better diagnosis. So this is what Atlas does. Atlas offers a new opportunity and is also a way to combine data in a single setting. We have a large number of data. And then I guess we can increase these numbers of data, right? Theoretically, what is the limit? This is a question from my side. What is the limit of Atlas? Can we, for example, support in Atlas also data from other sources, for example, from proteins or from patients' experience or questionnaires or epigenetics or whatever? Are there limits to Atlas, or is something that you can grow as research grows? What do you think, Ricardo?
I think that's a really great point of view. We in the project we focused in these 4 kind of data initially, but it's only also on my perspective, my point of view, only an initial test. There is very large possibilities to add other kind of data, as you mentioned, proteins or other data that clinicians and doctors are more expert than me for sure in this, but they can generally be added and introduced in artificial intelligence or machine learning models developed in order, because more information is always better, and they can obviously help clustering patients and have these kind of groups of patients to come to a better diagnosis.
Excellent. Are there other questions from the audience? Yes. what is the process for researchers to access raw data stored locally once they identify a relevant patient profile in the public catalog?
Okay, I can answer this because it's a more technical question. Currently, we are structuring an entity called the Data Access Committee. This will be the entity that will help authorized and make decision about who can access data that are raw data, as you mentioned, that are stored in the databases for collecting all the data that are part of the datasets for the CoMPaSS project. In small words, basically, the platform will be made public, but users cannot access raw data in any way possible. They will be able to have maybe a small preview of the metadata that were collected, but they, in order to download the data, the user, meaning the researcher, need to ask permission to the CoMPaSS project, and this permission or request will go through the Data Access Committee, which will decide to if and to grant this permission to that particular user.
Excellent. Are there other questions? Oh, no question. Just a lot of expectation and a huge thank you for everyone
Thank
working
you.
on the project. Okay, thank you. We have a new data. What new types of data, for example, patient-reported outcome, wearable data, are planned for future integration? It's more or less in the line we were discussing before. You want to comment on this?
I can comment.
Yes, Rossella.
We are working in order to have a prolongation, not a prolongation, but a kind of CoMPaSS 2. And so we have set up. The Atlas is a setup, is a tool. And in the future, we are planning, if we will be funded, to add all this information, because we are basically now constructing a model, and then we will implement and expand.
Okay, so this more or less also is a way to reply to what my next question was. My next question was on the sustainability over time of Atlas. Once you get a data repository, you fill it up with multiple data sets. How can we maintain over time this, and how can we make sure that it's used for research purposes only? Do you want to comment on this, or just
no?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, of course. To answer this question, well, basically, there are two particular things that we need to look from this for the Atlas platform to stay online, basically, and to maintain the dataset. The first one is maintaining the databases where the data are collected, meaning that they should stay in place online, and the Atlas platform, which is a web platform, should be continuously be able to connect to these databases and be online again. And for everything it's hosted on suit premises, and therefore me as FinCons, I'm not able to reply what it's been discussed with Suit, our partner, but briefly, I can comment the fact that they are more than happy and welcome to maintain the data collected, and the databases will remain online even after the project. The other point is the maintenance of the platform, and meaning if there are bugs or something to be corrected, something to be integrated, and something to be adjusted. And on this point, which is more on part of with what we do here at ThinkOns, I can also comment that we will continue maintaining the platform up to date. It will remain online, and it will remain adjusted, and everything will remain online.
Great. Rossella, do you want to comment on this? Or
I think that this is crucial, and we want to make most of stakeholders aware of the potentiality, because such a collection is in such the possibility of integrating different sets of data is fundamental, because now we know that there are no longitudinal studies, there are inconclusive or also confusion or mismatch. It is very important, I think, to get a well-organized collection of data is fundamental for the research and for the care, for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes.
thank you. I guess we have time for one last questions. Okay. How will the Atlas measure its success in optimizing care and achieving transparency? Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess we have KPI in the project, so we know how to measure the performance of the goal to have Atlas made and filled with good data. How to optimize care? I don't know. Rossella, you have...
I think that, for instance, having a clear clinical picture defined by standardized methodology will really avoid overlaps. It is, I think it is very important to have the standardized description of patients. This is the first step, and then we will add other data, and this can really ameliorate care. On the other hand, we already introduced some items that will help us in measuring the advancement that CoMPaSS will generate.
I would like to add just a very brief point. On a technical view, I can say that machine learning models that are being developed used for clusterization of patients can be these machine learning models results can be quantized, meaning that it is possible to check whether a model is behaving correctly or incorrectly with a certain percentage, and this could be a way to have a better clusterization, and obviously after the clusterization there could be an optimization in care and achieving transparency.
Thank you, Riccardo. I think this is the last comment. I think it's time to close. I thank you again, Rossella, for being the power of this project and for coordinating the activities. And thank you, Riccardo, first for the work you have done in Atlas, but also for this nice presentation today. And I thank all the people who want to remain till this time to listen to us and to be involved in Atlas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone.